Klay Thompson experiences his worst phase in the NBA since being drafted by the Golden State Warriors. After all, in 16 matches, he recorded averages of only 15 points and 36.7% use in the perimeter. Against the Oklahoma City Thunder, he had only one of 10 field shots. It was their second-worst conversion rate in a match in 11 seasons. Thus, fans and analysts consider the need for the winger to lose the starting spot. He, however, states that he does not care for critics. "I don't care what people say," Thompson said. "They don't do what we do. They can't do what we do, so they talk. Come on. I don't care what people say at this point in my life." Next question, he followed. At one point, still, Shirt 11 felt despised by reporters. After all, he was asked whether he values the fact that Steve Kerr has patience with him and other players, and thus reinforced his importance in the titles and his selections to the All-Star game. "Do you want me to sit on the bench?" asked the player to the reporter. "Do you want to bench Andrew Wiggins? Do you want to bench us? Okay, you can suggest that. All right. But, thank you, Steve, I suppose. I don't know. Sometimes you get things like patience and time to mate. I think the story is on our side when it comes to those things," the player added. In fact, Klay Thompson's phase at the Warriors isn't the best, so leaning on his record doesn't seem to justify Kerr's patience. Commentator and former player Kendrick Perkins then believes it is time for the franchise to consider the player's trade. If Klay can't get a shot back, then this team has a big problem. After all, this is the first season where it's below 15 points per game since its freshman year. With the stalemate of their contract extension next season, I think it's time for both sides to move on. "The franchise should think about negotiating it," said the commentator ESPN. Trading an idol or player heavily identified with the franchise is always a drama. After all, no fan wants to see the farewell of an athlete with whom he has developed an almost inexplicable bond. A feeling that can come from victories and achievements. But sometimes it doesn't even need to. It's hard, but it usually happens. And for Kendrick Perkins, it's time for the Golden State Warriors to consider switching Klay Thompson. He played very badly against Oklahoma City, but the issue is bigger. He couldn't keep up with the speed and athletic condition of the youth. There is no way to create, so separation to kick. This guy is certainly no longer a first or second offensive reference for title candidates. But it can still be a solid third option somewhere else, Perkins said, reinforcing the suggestion for change. Talking in exchange for Klay Thompson, however, is much easier than doing it for a number of reasons. Idolatry, as mentioned above, is only a first question. The guard is not only used to the Warriors' system, but is a key part of its success. Also, there is an inner confidence in his recovery. So analyst Zach Lowe is more cautious when discussing the possibility. "I agree that changing Klay would not be absurd, but I wanted to score two things. First of all, we know that there's a rash coming from this guy. There's a game coming up where you're going to hit 9 three-pointers soon. In addition, he is an athlete who recently tore the ligaments of the knee and tendon of Achilles. So it can't even be the same as before," pondered Perkins' colleague. And the commentator still brings up one last important question. After all, what can Golden State achieve, and who would be interested in Thompson right now? This is a guy who has a $43 million expiring contract and is not playing well. If we're going to discuss a trade now, who's going to want it, and what are they going to offer? To sum up, it's a much more complicated negotiation than it seems, Lowe added. The Warriors fan will surely wonder if the franchise will eventually consider a trade from Klay Thompson. One cannot forget, moreover, the chance of the own winger leaving the team as a free agent in the next offseason. The NBA is a business, after all. But, for Perkins, the most important thing is that everyone understands that the exit is not able to erase a story rooted in the heart. I know this is a difficult question, but it happens. No one imagined that we would see Kevin Garnett leave Minnesota, for example. However, that's how it works. Klay will have a statue at the gym entrance one day, so the story never fades. But that marriage is over, and so he needs a fresh start somewhere else. It happens, the veteran finished. The controversial Stephen A. Smith, in turn, raised doubts about Thompson's current importance in the team. After all, without use in the pitches, he believes that the Shirt 11 becomes useless. Klay is one of the top 5 pitchers of all time, to start with. But, in fact, the time has come for us to discuss your situation because you've had a huge drop in income. This guy said these would be the most important offseason and preseason of his career, but never pitched so badly in this league. That's not up to Klay Thompson, fired the ESPN analyst. Thompson's poor start to the season, perhaps, had its most negative point in the Warriors' loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. "I just don't recognize the Klay I'm seeing on the court right now. I don't know who this guy is. Of course, he will always have a place in Golden State because he is an idol and a leader. Great player, will be in the Hall of Fame one day. But in terms of competing for titles, without an elite pitch, what's the use of it? The famous commentator questioned. The Warriors have seen Klay Thompson's pitch go through swings in the past. This is common, after all, in a kicker's career. However, even with the natural highs and lows, he converted nearly 42% of his three-pointers in the NBA. He's only had 1 in 10 seasons under 40%. With this in mind, Coach Steve Kerr advises that the commander only take it easy and follow his routines. I know it's a complicated time, but I told Klay to just stay patient. A little break here, basketball fans. I'm bringing an incredible novelty to the true NBA lovers. Introducing the Plash Shop, the best store to buy jerseys. At Plash Shop Voci, you will find the best price on the market, with parts starting at $49 and many other promotions. Why just cheer when you can wear the greatness? The store link will be in the first pinned comment. Today, the Thunder threw its best defenders at him, and we couldn't generate the spaces so he could breathe. He even tried to create his pitches, but they were very difficult. Frustration is inevitable, but we must help him to have better pitching conditions too, said the coach, after the defeat by 128-109. Playing without Curry and Green creates obvious problems for Golden State. Therefore, Kerr bets that the team will be more prepared to assist Thompson in the coming days. With so many embezzlements, we are still trying to adapt our formations to find relief for the attack. We need to find our combinations that work, the former point guard and pitching expert admitted. Kerr was one of the highest-scoring three-point kickers in league history, so he knows there's only one way a player in this role can turn things around. Insist. The incentive to keep trying is crucial because pitchers depend on rhythm and repetition. Luckily, the Warriors can count on one thing. Klay Thompson won't lose faith in their pitch. I feel very good physically, first of all. I have no pain or physical problems. So, my confidence remains high. If history tells you anything, it's that a great phase is coming. I've been in the NBA for over a decade, and so I understand it's not easy. Playing basketball isn't easy, but I've proven that I'm resilient. So I'm not going to lose confidence in myself, he said. From his experience, Thompson has no doubt that this turnaround is near. One game, to summarize, is enough for everything to change. I didn't pitch well in those first 10 games. Certainly, I was far from my ability. But that passed and I can't do anything else. What I can do now is be accurate next month. So, I will hit everything that comes out of my hand, he warned. People inside the league's rumors know that. At first, there is a distraction that can influence Thompson. He did not reach an extension agreement with the Warriors and therefore must be a free agent in the next offseason. According to Shams Charania of The Athletic, the parties are far from a settlement in terms of financial and contract duration. But the guard has already said that this is not in his head. At the moment, I am focused on the dedication required to act at a high level. I am not concerned, therefore, with this negotiation. I feel that it will resolve itself naturally if I do my work on the court. I do not like to think about it, because I do not think it is productive. My goal is to show the world that I'm still capable of being one of the best in the league, assured the veteran star. Golden State started the season with a streak of 5 wins in 6 games. The only loss had been to the Phoenix Suns on the opening night of 2023-24 in the NBA. But after winning 5 straight games, including the controversial win against the Oklahoma City Thunder, everything changed. And one particular noise and splashes heavily on Klay Thompson, the team's second leading offensive force. In 11 games, the team did not have a single player who scored more than 20 points besides Stephen Curry. The best game of the wing, for example, was against the Houston Rockets at the end of October. He scored 19 points, converting 5 balls of 3. He was absent in one of 11 games. However, it only surpassed the 15-point mark on 5 opportunities throughout the season. Klay has the worst media of his career. Finally, he promised the crowd that the best of his version and pitch are coming back to help the Warriors. I've been there before. I've been in the NBA for over a decade, so I know what it's like. Basketball is hard sometimes. One thing I've proven in the last few years is that I'm a resilient player. So you can bet I'm going to speed up again. If the first 10 games were not good, the next ones will be excellent. That's what I trust, he finished. And thus, we conclude our round of news for today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any NBA news. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter as well, as we provide updates throughout the day over there. Now, at the end, YouTube will be recommending some videos from our channel, so go ahead and watch them all. Until the next video, peace to all.